What is victims' reaction to the news today that the Secretary of State, Mo Mowlam, offered a secret amnesty to paramilitary prisoners?
It was no secret. We have been saying this for quite a while, more so about Republicans. Thankfully, we didn't have much loyalist activity in the South Armagh area. Plus, this was offered before in the 80s, and I believe also in the 70s to loyalist paramilitaries. But it's the Republican movement that I'm concerned about, because if they've offered it to the loyalists, and remember the loyalists would only had a few people actually on the run, unlike the Republicans, they had no country to run to where they wouldn't be extradited from. So that's where our concern lies, and we stated at the time that we were told that this was up for negotiations and this was part of the deal. But obviously, we were laughed at, we were mocked, we were told that we were scaremongered, but now the truth is starting to come out. We've always said, like, you wait long enough, you will find the right way of a deal, and especially a dirty deal.
This appears to confirm much of what you've been saying over the past 10 years and appears to explain the government's reluctance to offer justice and to take many of the issues that FAIR has raised seriously. Do you see this as confirmation of your position?
Well, it certainly confirms our stance. We have said for quite a while that you can never have a proper peace unless you have some type of justice. We have had no justice whatsoever. Knowing murderers who not only murdered people but butchered them, actually cut them up in some cases and tortured them for a number of days, things that you would not do to an animal. And these people have been on the run and wanted for a number of years. But these are not just ordinary individual murders we're talking about. We're talking about mass murderers. We're talking about serial killers. We're talking about people who took individuals away and tortured them for days, cutting lumps out of them, burning them with cigarettes. These are war crimes. And this is what the IRA were after. They wanted an amnesty for their people on that because they never wanted them stories to be told. And they knew that if any of their people were arrested for these offences and charged, that history would tell the true story of what went on in this country, and especially to the unionist communities in the border areas. Why not try and come out and be honest with the victims and let us sort our own system of justice out? Let that be going through the courts or whatever, but we're not going to lie down and take this. And members of the DUP, who I spoke with on several occasions about this before they went into power, agreed with me that amnesty was talked about. I want them now to come out and stand beside me where they stood 2-3 years ago and agreed with us. They now are hearing it themselves firsthand. They can't deny it because they're now in government. So we want them to come out and stand where they stood 3 years ago. There's no justification for letting the people away for butchering our community. No justification whatsoever.
You're set for a high-profile meeting with the Human Rights Commission. I assume some of these issues will be on the agenda as they close their consultation on the Bill of Rights. I assume that victims will be taking a position on the amnesty in regard to the Bill of Rights for Northern Ireland.
Well, very much so, because they're talking about a Bill of Rights for Northern Ireland. Whose rights? Whose human rights are they talking about? Like, people who have once murdered belonging to them have suffered the biggest human right violation of all, and that is the right to life. So there's no human rights in this country. The right to life is the most important right of all. The human rights issue should be dealing with this whole thing to do with an amnesty. Where are they? We can't hear them. Where's our politicians? We can't hear them. Where's all these human rights groups within the United Kingdom, or even down south, or even internationally? Where are they? Here we are talking about a situation where people are going to be allowed to get away with mass murder, war crimes against the unionist Protestant community, and there's not a word being said. What is wrong in this country?
FAIR has asked with the meeting with the present Chief Constable. Could you explain what the issues that you wish to raise with him are?
Well, we have asked twice now for a meeting with the Chief Constable, and he's turned it down twice. We're going to ask him again, and if he turns it down, then he's going to leave us no option but to take to the streets to protest. We had to do it in 1998, and be under no illusion, we will go back and do it again. You can threaten to cut all the funding you want away from us. You can threaten us with whatever you like. But remember this, the IRA threatened us for 35 years. Not only did they threaten us, they actually carried out acts of brutality where they tortured and butchered us, and we still stood against them. The Chief Constable will have to come to us before we finish, but I'm asking them and giving them the chance before we actually have to start again to speak to us, so that we can go back and speak to the people within our community to try and reassure them. The security situation in South Armagh is another and total joke. There is no security. The IRA, the Republicans, run South Armagh. The police don't run it. They are allowed in now and again to be seen, but it's only at the behest of Sinn Féin are they allowed in. That's not policing. I'd like to say to the Chief Constable and Mr Goggins and our own politicians, we are not going back to a situation in South Armagh where we're picking up bits of our loved ones' bodies off the road or out of the fields because you people can't do your job. We'll not accept that anymore, and we ain't going back to it. So you get your act together and get this sorted out. Don't play political football with our lives, because we're not going to accept it anymore. Get rid of these people. The promises you made, the commitment you made was you would take the IRA out, or the Republicans, call them whatever you want. Tony Blair made the promise that you would go in and take them out of the hilt. Go in now and wipe them out. Whatever has to be done, so that we can have proper policing, law and order, and a normal society within our community. You made the promise, not us. So don't expect us to go back to burying our dead and accepting it, because we won't.